I'm afraid Manchester City it is turning to that brutal side that nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to play them because in some moments of that game, they were just trolling Liverpool. Ryan Cherki, Erling Haaland, Semenyo, Doku, Nico Riley, they were just showing these guys, you are not on our levels. Last season, well, you might be the Premier League holders, you might be have won something last season, you might still be in the Champions League and or not in the Champions League, but this is our home and you are not getting anything out of this one. And first, that performance from Liverpool players speaks volume on where their position is with Arne Slot. I think in the international break you are hearing the rumors like, well, Arne Slot has been giving a central role in Liverpool's transfer window this summer. That means, well, he'll have a lot to say on the players that will be coming into Liverpool and will be getting out of Liverpool in the transfer window. And I think players like Mohamed Salah, the seniors player in that team, like Virgil van Dijk, are like, you cannot work with the players that you were given in the summer. You have given Alexander Isak, one of the best strikers in the Premier League last season, well. That did not work out well for you. I know Alexander Isak has not been available for most of the time in the Premier League, Champions League, or in the Cups for Liverpool, but well. You have Hugo Ekitike, who has been proven to be a very reliable player more than even the likes of Alexander Isak, Florian Wirtz, Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong. You can't even make him work. The most of the time that Hugo Ekitike has been playing brilliant, it is because of his individual brilliance, and I guess it is not because of instructions from the guy like Arne Slot. And this poses a question, man. These Liverpool players, do they play for Arne Slot, or they're just there? Look, this guy has to get out of here. He has to get out of here. There's no way this guy will take Liverpool to the next level. And I'm asking myself, how will these Liverpool players prepare themselves for that game against PSG in the Parc des Princes? Because your next trip, it is in Paris. It is in Paris Saint-Germain at the Parc des Princes against PSG, and this is the football you are playing against Manchester City. It will be really bad for you, man. It will be really bad for you. But well, let's start with the winning team, which is Manchester City in this occasion. 4-0 against Liverpool at the Etihad. Sir Alex Ferguson was there well. Manchester United a lot of caps, and I think the guy was missing football. That is why he was at the Etihad to watch Manchester City against Liverpool. As a football fan, of course. But let's talk about this Manchester City team. And for all those guys, all you guys who are not playing their win in the Carabao Cup, this is what it has done to them mentally. Enjoying football, playing, pressing, doing all the stuff right. Pep Guardiola today was not in the touchline. He was watching the football from the stands, but his instructions were there. You could see, well, this is a Pep Guardiola mind in display. The likes of Nico Riley, the way he was popping in those places where we used to see Joe Cancelo popping, that is definitely Pep Guardiola's brain in work there. And if I'm being fair, Liverpool started the game quite brilliantly today. They started the game quite good. Well, before the Erling Haaland, before the early Virgil van Dijk stinker. Virgil van Dijk had a very bad stinker, by the way. I think Virgil van Dijk is one of those players. When he has a very good game, it is a good game. When it is a bad game, it is a very bad game. He gives a penalty to Manchester City, and I think before that penalty, Liverpool were quite good. Excuse me, they were really good in some moments. Don't know what's wrong with my throat. Liverpool were quite good in some of those moments, man. If Mohamed Salah could have taken that chance where he was a very good pass, he ran in behind, and what he had to do, it was just finish that ball. If Mohamed Salah finished that, we could have been talking a different story, maybe a 4-1. If Mohamed Salah scored that penalty, we could have been talking about a different story. If Hugo Ekitike utilized some of his chances out with final ball, we could have talked about a different game, but Erling Haaland steps on the ball, eyes on Mamadashvili, boom, 1-0 to Manchester City. And from that moment when Erling Haaland passed that ball behind the net, it was Manchester City, Manchester City, Manchester City all over Liverpool. Manchester City all over Liverpool. Liverpool, they were doing nothing for almost rest of the game, man. And I'll be really surprised if I see a Liverpool player with a green rating. I expect them to be yellows and reds or orange. That Liverpool team was really poor today. But after Erling Haaland grabbing that first goal, well, immediately, like a few minutes to just at the end of the first half, he grabs a second goal, and you're looking at it like, it is over for Liverpool. There's no way you are coming back to this one. There's no way you are coming back to this one. 1-0 it is Manchester City were great. I know it is 2 goals. You have to score 2 goals. Well, there's no way you are coming back in this one. It goes to halftime 2-0. And when Manchester City come back again, it is Antonio Semenyo who grabs the third goal, and Erling to seal his hat-trick. He grabs his third goal of the day and the fourth for Manchester City. Liverpool get a penalty which, well, it was supposed to give them like hope, but Mohamed Salah misses the penalty after a very good save from James Trafford, who had a really good game, by the way. But let's talk about some of the Manchester City players who were very brilliant today. Let's start with the goalkeeper, James Trafford. I think James Trafford, for some moments, for most of moments in this game where Liverpool should have scored, he's the one who kept Manchester City in the game and Liverpool nowhere near the game. He was really brilliant today. If this is your second goalkeeper as a Manchester City, I think Manchester City fans are really happy, man, because if Donnarumma misses a game, well, because of injury, suspension, or anything, and James Trafford is the guy who will be playing in that position, he's reliable, man. Not all the teams in the Premier League can say that. Arsenal, you saw the other week, Raya is not in the game, and the guy who comes there is Kepa Arrizabalaga. Manchester United the same. If Senne Lammens is not there, we have Alte Bandia, who he has had Aula moments at the club. Even Liverpool for them. Alisson was not there. Mamadashvili, some of the goals that he was conceding today. Manchester City were really good, but some of the goals he was conceding, he should have done better. So Manchester City having James Trafford as their second keeper, I think they're really lucky, man. He's young, he can make those saves, and if he leads them to maybe a domestic double of cups, Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, it will be a very successful season and a very good first season for him. Then for Nunez conceding a penalty, which Mohamed Salah missed, overall he had a good game. Nico Riley, man. Nico Riley. He's slowly turning to one of my favorite players in that Manchester City team. My favorite player in that Manchester City team, of course, it is Ryan Cherki. What a player Ryan Cherki is. But Nico Riley, man, he's popping in those positions where we used to see the likes of Joe Cancelo. That shows how Josep Guardiola has managed to change this guy who was originally a fullback, put him in the midfield, and the midfield he was playing very brilliant. Now, in his today, playing in that left back position again, you could see in some moments Jeremy Doku was really narrow near Erling Haaland, and in that left flank, it was just Nico O'Reilly making those runs and making those passes. And today, he grabs another assist to Erling Haaland, which was a very good assist, by the way. Very good ball to Erling Haaland. The way Erling Haaland he positioned himself to score that goal was also brilliant. But Nico O'Reilly, Thomas Tuchel, whether you'll play this guy in the midfield, whether you'll play this guy as a fullback, you have to get him in the plane to that World Cup squad. Then there are centre backs. McGahey was very brilliant today. Kushanov was also brilliant. Then Rodri. Is it ridiculous to say that Rodri is back? Because personally, I think, look, let me just say it, Rodri's back, man. Rodri's back. This is the Rodri that carried Manchester City to that treble. Maybe not completely the same version, but the version we're seeing of Rodri at the moment, it is very good, man. I think in the first few games when he's coming back from injury, Josep Guardiola giving him all those tasks, and he was coming back off of an ACL injury. Guardiola giving him all those tasks in that midfield, it was hurting him. But now when he has all this help, Ryan Cherki is a guy who likes to run all over the pitch. Bernardo Silva, we all know, is our work, and Rodri in that midfield position, the way he schooled Gravenberch today, and the other day against Arsenal, the way he did to Zubi Mendy and Declan Rice, I think it is safe to say he's back, man. And the rumors that he wants to go to Real Madrid, in his interview in the international break, saying, well, there's no player in the world that should reject Real Madrid. And when he was asked, like, will you dream of playing in La Liga one day? He said, yes, of course I can play in La Liga one day again. And I've loved to retire in my home country. And if I was to go back there, maybe if Real Madrid want me, I'm going to play there. Atletico Madrid, I played there once, but that does not mean I cannot play for Real Madrid. So I think Rodri, maybe it might be safe to say he's back. And then let's talk about the guy who is my favorite player in this team, man. Ryan Cherki. You guys know I love Ryan Cherki. You guys know I love bowlers. You guys know I love naturally gifted talents, the likes of Neymar, the likes of Ronaldinho, the likes of R9, Messi. You know I'm going to defend those guys with my life. Iniesta, those naturally gifted players, man. The guy, the Mares, those guys who it is like they were born with the ball on their feet. I will defend all those guys with my life. That does not mean that I hate the other gen of players. But if I have to choose an world 11 with those natural gifted talent and those guys which well, you can see they are good players, but there's some bit of hard work added into their game. I'm going to choose those players because I love players. I love players who can do anything at any moment. I love players who love the ball. I was watching a documentary about the Manchester United game against Barcelona in the Champions League final. I think it was the Champions League final, which was it 2011? Maybe it was in 2011, where Rio Ferdinand was saying like, Manchester United players in that game, it was like they were fearing the ball. But the likes of Sergio Busquets was just their look. Give me the ball. These guys fear the ball. Give me the ball. And that screams Ryan Shaki right there. He's an all-action midfielder. He can assist. He can create chances. He can make those lane-breaking passes. That is the type of midfielders I want. And Ryan Shaki is on course of becoming one of the greats. And in the World Cup, I think he'll be very instrumental for France. Then let's talk about the guy who grabbed a hat-trick today. He has been getting a lot of criticism this season. Erling Haaland has been getting a lot of criticism, which, well, as good as a player he's not immune to criticism. When he's criticized, this is how we want him to respond. This is how we want him to respond. Just imagine a scenario like this. I saw a stat, he has scored 45 goals in 50 games for club and country this season in all competition. Which, thinking of Erling Haaland standards, that is very good number. Those are very good numbers, by the way. Those are very good numbers. But if you look in the previous like 10 to 12 games for Manchester City, he has not been firing, and that raised a lot of questions. But today has grabbed a hat trick. Maybe in the next game, who knows? He might grab 2 goals, and that is how Erling Haaland stacks up his goal. There's some moments in the season Erling Haaland is always going to suffer, but when he starts firing, he's a guy who scores 2 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals, 3 goals, 1 goal, 1 goal, and an assist. So in that regards, especially today, he did everything that Manchester City wanted him to do. And when he was getting out, he got the standing ovation. That was very good. The other guy, Doku Semenyo, they were also very good. Doku today was not that vintage Doku. It was not a brilliant game from Jeremy Doku, but Antoine Semenyo, I keep saying this, man. Gehi and Antoine Semenyo, Manchester City getting them in January, it was a very huge boost for them, man. It was a very huge boost for them. And if they get this domestic double of cups, FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, is it a failure season for Manchester City? Maybe in their standards, they should have gone a little far in the Champions League and maybe done a lot more in the Premier League, considering Arsenal, it is not one of the best Premier League champions. Well, it is just a few weeks and it will be a formality. Arsenal with the champions. But Semenyo and Gehi, these guys were very good signings for them. But let's address the elephant in the room, and that is Liverpool Football Club. Over the course of the international break, I've been hearing Arne Slot will be in the center, will be at the heart of the decisions that will be made regarding transfer in the summer for Liverpool. And let me say this, if Liverpool are going to do that, they'll be just shooting themselves in the foot, man. That will be like shooting themselves in the foot. Because I think all the credit that Arne Slot had in the bank in terms of he won the Premier League for Liverpool last season, it has to be all gone by now. It has to be all gone. Losing in the manner, losing in the way they lost against Manchester City today, that is embarrassing as it is for Arne Slot and his whole coaching staff. Then saying this is the guy who you are going to, well, he'll be at the heart of everything in the transfer window. Liverpool have to be very serious or have to be very careful in the decisions that they will be making. But I want to talk about a guy who in debates, well, in the greats in the Premier League greats centre backs, people always love to say he's in the top 3. This guy is better than Rio, he's better than Vidic, he's better than John Terry, he's better than Fabio Cavallo, he's better than Vincent Kompany, he's better than most of the centre backs in the Premier League history. But when he has a stinker and you tell a Liverpool or a Virgil van Dijk fan, let me say Virgil van Dijk fan because I'm Liverpool fans, always admit that this guy has stinkers. If you tell a Virgil van Dijk fan, look, today Virgil van Dijk this was unacceptable. You could rarely see performances like this from the likes of John Terry. So I'm not having John Terry. I'm not having Virgil van Dijk over John Terry in my all-time Premier League centre back debates. These guys are fuming, man. They are always fuming because I feel with Virgil van Dijk, it is that he has a good game. That is why his peak is very high. People are saying Virgil van Dijk his peak was higher than all of these guys. Do you know the reason of that? It's that Virgil van Dijk has a very good game and he reaches levels that no centre back has ever reached. But when he has a bad game, he is at the lowest. When he has a bad game, Virgil van Dijk is at the lowest of that tiers, man. When he has a bad game, you might pick Axel Tuanzebe, you might pick the likes of Eric Bailey, no disrespect to them, over him, man. When he has a bad game, Virgil van Dijk's bad game, it is a really bad game. To a standard which there's no way Vincent Kompany, Rio Ferdinand, Nemanja Vidic, the likes of Sol Campbell, the likes of Kolo Toure, the likes of JT, there's no way those guys reach that low. When Virgil van Dijk has a bad game, he reaches a new low that nobody has ever reached. But that is a discussion we'll have for another day. But I think Liverpool, you have to fix your issues. For Arne Slot, sack the guy, man. Go and get Xabi Alonso or any other guy. Let me know what those guys in the comment section. Is this a new Manchester City set that we're going to see a lot in the remaining games this season and next season? Does this mean that Pep Guardiola has figured it out? He has gathered a group of new players and he will continue in the Premier League? Let me know down below in the comment section. But Manchester City are Wembley bound and Liverpool, a lot of uncomfortable conversations has to be started.